It's the Varsity Voices podcast presented by C Spire here on this Wednesday episode or third quarter episode, whatever day it might be when you're watching or listening to it. I'm your host, Breck Riley. This segment brought to you by Empower Rental Group. You deserve a better rental experience. Visit them at renterg.com. We're joined by Brandon Davis, voice of the Warren Central Vikings, and Jared Schatz, the voice of the Germantown Mavericks. Before we get into today's content, we'll remind you to subscribe to us on all of our channels, whether that's on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. If you are someone that likes to listen, maybe going down the road. If you're a visual person, you can subscribe to us on State Championships Radio Network on YouTube. And you need to subscribe anyway, because here in a few weeks, we're going to be broadcasting the state championship games from Starkville, and you'll be able to find us on the booth cam. It'll be right there and see what's going on inside the booth, and you can see us, yelling at each other and slapping each other around, and
he's not kidding.
When we go to a commercial, punching somebody because they didn't give you something. It's all fun. It's really, really what you should tune in to see. But yeah, so if you subscribe and turn on notifications anytime we go live on the channel for a ball game, you'll get that notification. But let's jump right into 3A playoffs. They're in the third round this week. In the second round in the North, it was a clean sweep for Region 4. Choctaw County with the big win over Kossuth, 49-7. And you had Noxubee County, no problem with Coahoma County, 35-8. It was Aberdeen getting a win, 58-39 over Boonville, and Winona with a close one, 21-8 over Belmont. Guys, here in the North, I don't think there's anybody here too shocked about it all being one region, because we said all year long that this was probably the best region in 3A, Brandon Davis.
Yeah, absolutely. Region 4 really stands out as the cream of the crop in the north part of the state, and that's what you're seeing. All four teams that are remaining are from that region. So it's just going to be one happy family reunion for the semis and the finals for the north part of the state in 3A.
And Jared, this is going to be the second rematch of last year's state championship in less than a month between Noxubee and Choctaw.
Yeah, and if it's anything like we've had in the past with these two guys, we are in for a real treat. Those are two football teams we knew would make their way deep in the playoffs, and here they are for a chance to go to North State. That is. Again, we talked about the Holmes County Central ball game and Cleveland Central being one of the games of the week. That ball game is going to be one of the games of the week in the state of Mississippi as well.
Yeah, if you look back at his shots, Choctaw County, they played early in the season, Noxubee, and it was Noxubee winning that game 8-7, and they played over in Ackerman. So this time around, they have to go over. Choctaw County has to go over to Macon and play. So, that's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a great ball game.
So 3A North, all one district. And now we'll get down to the South, and the South has got some good games as well, with Union getting the win over Hazelhurst. They stay undefeated to the Yellow Jackets. Raleigh and PCS, boy, they had a great game there, with Raleigh getting the 6-point win over the Bobcats, 34-28. And then you look at McGee and Franklin County getting the win there, 23-20, and then it was Seminary beating West Marion 21-7. So Jared Schatz, looking at 3A South, what stands out to you?
I thought McGee might win that ball game. I don't know. I don't know what happened with McGee. They got off to the 14-7 lead at halftime, and then Franklin County with 16 points in the third quarter. So McGee was trying to play catch up. They got a touchdown in the fourth quarter, but Franklin County able to hold them off 23-20. That was a bit of a surprise for me. I thought that was a team in McGee that might make a run at it here towards the end of the season. That was one that caught my eye. There was one other one, and I can't get my computer to cooperate. But no, PCS. I just to hang with Raleigh like that, man. We've been high on Raleigh all year long. We said every show, I feel like. To make that jump to the MHSAA for PCS and play some of the teams they have played to win some of those games and then go toe-to-toe with the Raleigh Lions, that I think is the one that catches my eye the most and say, wow, what a ball game that was. What a team Presbyterian Christian was. That's the foundation, man. That's the foundation to building a program to compete in the MHSAA, and that's a team you're going to look out for years to come, including next year.
Yeah, I mean, Raleigh is we, as you said, Jared, we talk about them every week. We kind of christened them the favorite out of 3A South early in the season, and for PCS to hang with them, no shame in what they did in MHSAA in the first round. But Brandon Davis, your thoughts on the South?
I'll tell you what, man, I'm high on Raleigh. I've been told by some coaching friends of mine that the only team that can beat Raleigh is Raleigh, and so. That PCS game, I wish I would have been there because it looks like that was the banger that we thought it was going to be. Two great teams matching up. Union, congratulations to them. I thought Union was maybe fool's gold in the regular season. I know they were undefeated. They did beat a good Clarkdale team. Them struggling with JDC, that's a guy, there you go, because JDC kind of backed into the playoffs, but beating a very good Hazelhurst team. And looking down to the South, Shots said it, I was surprised about McGee not getting past Franklin County. I know anything could happen. McGee's a good ball club. It's just such a tough region there out of Region 6. I thought they were battle-tested enough with the teams they played. And the team that I really like, the team that I do think can beat Raleigh, is Seminary. Going down and taking care of West Marion, I thought that was two evenly matched teams. Mitch Evans is a difference maker, guys. He can coach football. They've got a good quarterback down there. That Chancellor, Brady Chancellor, he does a good job of managing the team and he doesn't get them in trouble. So Seminary is a team that is kind of quiet good. Mitch Evans, they beat McGee to close out the season. And he was mad. He didn't think they should have won the ball game. And if you can go find his post-game interview that he had after they won, it's pretty hilarious. But he's just an intense guy, a great coach, does a great job, loves his kids. And Seminary is a good ball club under his direction.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this Union and Raleigh game in the South. So as Brandon said, see if Union, got that undefeated record. See if that's going to hold up against the really, really stout Raleigh Lions team. Jared.
Well, I mean, Seminary, they gave Raleigh all they wanted the first go round. Only lost that game by 6, 27-21 back on October 24. So if everything aligns, they may have their shot to knock off the big boys from Raleigh. We'll see. Raleigh's going to have their hands full this week, but man, I know we're high on 4A and we should be, but there's some matchups in 3A coming down the latter half of the playoffs that are going to be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. And we'll take a look at Jake Wimberly's computer rankings and what the numbers say. And just to refresh your memory if you forgot or haven't seen it yet, this is a probability to win the whole thing, not just to win this week's game. It is to win the championship, and it takes into account the teams that are left and other factors. But Raleigh, no surprise there, they have the number one probability at 46.84%, and then it drops off down to Noxubee County to 22%, and then it's Union at 11.23. You got Choctaw County there at the 4 spot, 9.64, and Winona in the 5 spot at 4.15, actually tied with Seminary at 4.15, and the model does not like Aberdeen or Franklin County. They're barely registering a chance to win there. But guys, what does Brandon, what stands out to you about the numbers here? I mean, we probably all thought Raleigh and Noxubee probably the two best ones there.
Yeah, I agree, but I tell you guys, I like Seminary. Don't sleep on Seminary being down there at 4%. The model doesn't really like them all that much. Shots just alluded to it. They only lost to Raleigh by 6 points. They gave Ryan Higney's bunch all they wanted, and if they play again, and really, no disrespect to Franklin County, that was an upset beating Mize this past week. McGee, excuse me. So I'm going to go ahead and give Seminary the nod this week to make it to North State or South State. So if Seminary makes it, if Seminary is able to get to state, watch out. Again, Mitch Evans, like I said, he's won a title at Taylorsville. He's came down there. He's turned this program around. So I'm a little surprised they're as far down as they are. But, yeah, I do like, all things considered, Raleigh's a team, Knoxville County, that's, they're about where they go. But I am anxious to see what Choctaw County has to say about Knoxville being where they are. That's going to be intriguing.
Yeah, it makes sense. Choctaw County is the defending champs, though, so obviously the computer's not going to register that or realize that, so I get it. But it will be for that wonderful bulletin board material that we love to provide for teams across the state of Mississippi. So there's one for Choctaw County. And again, this is all the computer spitting this out. But Seminary, I mean, Brandon noted that is the team to keep an eye on, and they're saying, "Shh, y'all be quiet, don't tell anybody." And look, the people are starting to catch on. But that is a good football team. If they knock off Franklin County, and if I had to, if somebody held a gun to my head right now, yeah, I'm going to pick Seminary in that game. But man, I'm telling you that South State could be a fun matchup, no matter who comes out of there. If Seminary beats Franklin County, they can take out Union or Raleigh.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I like the fact that Region 4 in the North has 3 out of the top 5 chances to win. So what is it, 60% chance for one of the Knoxville, Choctaw County, or Winona, 60% chance for someone out of Region 4 to win the championship. So that should tell you just about how stout the competition was in that region all season long. So that's a look at 3A on who's going to be has the best chance to make it to Starkville. And if you have a chance to make it to Starkville, you're going to want to book your stay at the Hilton Garden Inn of Starkville. I drove right past it this week going through Starkville to get up to Itawamba, and it's a nice place there, but that's where we're going to be staying, and it's only about a mile, if it's a mile, from Davis Wade Stadium, and so it's an easy shot, so it's a great place to stay. So if your team makes it to Starkville, or even if you just you're planning a weekend to go to Starkville, make sure you stay at the Hilton Garden Inn. Well, we're going to step aside for a break. When we come back, we'll turn our attention to 2A. You're listening to the Varsity Voices podcast presented by C Spire.
When your AC goes out, your sink leaks, or your breakers are tripping, you need help fast from someone you can trust. That's why we work hard to have the fastest service times and the most knowledgeable technicians in Central Mississippi. Our promise to you, at your door in under 24. So don't wait days for others to show up. Call Environment Masters for hassle-free plumbing, electrical, and AC at your door in under 24, because it's not cool to make you wait.
Never settle when building or remodeling your home. You may think you can't afford brick, but you can. For less than $1 a day, you can own a full brick home. The money you save on painting, heating, and cooling costs, along with lower insurance, will put money back in your pocket. Go to CherokeeBrick.com to see how affordable brick really is. Spend less, save more on the look you want. Cherokee Brick. Life's just better with brick.
Genuine Mississippi, grown and raised and crafted, made. Genuine Mississippi.
One receiver out to the right is Braden Powell. Back to pass Lindsey. Swings it out. Caleb Holmes makes the catch in the backfield. Turns at the numbers 30, 35, 40. He gets into the secondary and he is gone. Off to the races. Holmes to the 30, 20, 10, and touchdown. How about that? 71 yards for Wes Jones.
My goodness, what a run.
And welcome back into the Varsity Voices podcast presented by C Spire, where we are tackling the playoffs. We're down to the 2A bracket, and much like the 5A bracket, this one is all about one team, and we'll talk about them here in a little bit, but they're in the south portion of the bracket. So we're going to start out up north in a great ball game, guys, that we were excited about. Northside and Baldwin, as Baldwin was the defending 1A champ, jumped up to 2A. Northside got that win 32-20. And another team in 2A that's new. Kemper County came down from 3A to 2A, and they got a win over Water Valley 38-14. And then the other side of the bracket, it was blowout city. Charleston 66-14 over Hamilton. East Webster 57-0 over Myrtle, and that sets up a just a banger of a showdown there. So in the north, you're going to have Northside and Kemper County, and Charleston at East Webster. Brandon Davis, what are your thoughts on 2A North?
I'll tell you what, I like Northside just because of Tavares Johnson being the head coach up there. He's a great coach. He's won titles before. Yes, he was and we talked about this, he was at Mississippi Delta Community College as their head coach, and he decided to leave the college ranks to go back down to high school at Northside. And that says a lot. And he thinks that, he can bring, and he's one of the better coaches in the entire state. I know he's up deep in the Delta. He didn't get a lot of coverage, but to me, he's one of the better coaches that is left in the playoff ranks of any classification, and he'll have his kids ready to play. I think the Charleston East Webster game, honestly, it's a shame that's not for North State because both of those teams likely could play in Starkville, and both of them could win in Starkville. Well, they would at least give Heidelberg a shot. Let me say that. But I like East Webster a lot. I picked against them one time this season against Nanawaya. I hadn't done it since. I learned my lesson. So two good games. Kemper County, the Yates kid, the running back, he's felt disrespected because he didn't get picked to any all-star game, which I think is crazy in Mississippi. But they've come along. They had a rough season, but they finally have found their groove, and they're doing some good things here in the playoffs.
Yeah. Jared, get your thoughts on 2A North.
Yeah, Northside, really some impressive numbers. Kemper County, a big win over Water Valley. Thought that Water Valley game might be a little bit closer. Some people picked Water Valley, so yeah, big win for Kemper County. They'll have their hands full at Northside, but man, look at Charleston East Webster. This may be the game if you're just saying matchups for any classification this week. And there's two or three that I've got. I've said in previous episodes that I have my eye on and that have caught our attention, but this. Charleston is the darlings out of the north out of this classification every year. They've made the state championship 3 years in a row, trying to make it 4. East Webster is really a lot of us picked them because they were dropping down to maybe challenge Heidelberg. It looks like a collision course about to happen. We'll talk about Heidelberg here in just a moment. But you've got a Charleston team averaging 40 points a ball. I'm sorry, East Webster team averaging 40 points a ball game, giving up just over 7.5. They're good on the offensive side. They're explosive, and defensively they're shutting everybody out. Then you have Charleston. You've got Marcus Flowers and a crew of seniors, actually juniors and seniors. They've been to the state championship, like we said, 4 years in a row. They're experienced, man. They know what it takes to get there. And they have the intangibles. So this is going to be a tremendous matchup. Charleston, that blowout win. East Webster, a blowout win. This is the game that I'll be watching very, very intensely on Friday.
Yeah, and
that's a look at.
No, go ahead. Yeah, I was going to say on East Webster, since they lost to Choctaw County to open the season 14-0, they have been on fire. I like East Webster probably, if I'm getting down to splitting hairs just based off of strength of schedule and their region play over Charleston, but I'm like Shots. This is one that I will have on my monitor during my game on Friday night.
Yeah, big ball game there over in the Deltas where they're going to be playing that one. And let's jump down to the South. Clarkdale had a close one against Emmett County. That was a 12-8 win. Heidelberg, no problem at all against North Forest, 56-0. And here is the upset of the week, I think. Mize takes out Wesson 28-26. And then you got East Marion and Bay Springs. It was East Marion getting the win 42-20. So, guys, I guess first up I'll ask, what happened to the Cobras, guys? We thought the Cobras were going to be there. And I think when we get to the numbers, last week, the numbers actually favored Wesson over Heidelberg.
It did.
And now there's no Wesson left. Brandon Davis, what happened to the Cobras?
My fault. I was so high on them, and we talked so good. And Jeremy Loy's bunch was just off the chains as far as what they were doing to teams, what they did to Lloyd Star. That's what really caught my attention, is how they played Lloyd Star. They beat Emmett County. That's a very salty team. I thought that they were going to be the team out of the South that actually gave Heidelberg a run for their money. But not to happen. Mize, look at what Matt Maddox's bunch did. And Mize was coming into the season, they were 4-6 coming into the playoffs. So a huge upset in my opinion. I think Mize was probably battle tested a little more with the teams they played. They played McGee and Raleigh and Presbyterian Christian, Taylorsville, Clarkdale, Heidelberg, yada, yada, yada. So they were battle tested, and that's why you play tough games, and that's why you have tough regions that you try to survive in the regular season that prepares you for the playoff run, and they certainly put it to the Cobras. So kudos to them for being able to advance.
Yeah, and in this one, Jared, I mean, it's all about Heidelberg. I mean, it's kind of the same thing we've said all year.
Yeah, it's about Heidelberg. I mean, that is a team that's, again, they're just like Charleston on the south side as far as a team that's battle-tested, experienced, juniors and seniors. Now we've seen them grow up since they were kids. I say, 8th and 9th graders, and they've played a lot of ball together. The continuity's there. But talk about Mize and Weston, man. Weston was getting all the accolades. Everybody was talking about him. Mize was just a street fighters is what they were. They had played a brutal schedule. And from reading about them, they had an issue protecting the football early on this year. They were turning the football over a lot. They were playing a bunch of bullies on the street, and they learned something from it. What did they do? They go and pull the upset over Weston, who not only we liked, but the computer spit out as number one. That is a huge win for Mize, and we'll see. Can you do it in back-to-back weeks? Can you knock off East Marion now? Mize is that's one of those teams, man. We saw it, and look, they're better record wise than what Wayne County was or Laurel at the upper classifications, but it's kind of the same pattern. When is this team going to start gelling? And for Mize, the time is now, and you couldn't find a better time to start gelling. That's a dangerous football team. And meanwhile, for Clarkdale, man, I mean, not to steal Brandon Davis's thunder, but Heidelberg may make them go back and play softball, even the boys. I mean, because that one may get ugly. It already has once this year.
Yeah. The one thing I'll say for Clarkdale, they have Jake Lee at quarterback, and he's a dog. Breck and I seen him in baseball at the state title games down there. He was their starting pitcher with their back against the wall. They certainly have their back against the wall, but I mean, Heidelberg in the playoffs are only giving up 3 points a game. So, and I hate
the difference in baseball, he can stand on a mound and nobody's chasing after him. And that Heidelberg defense is it's a little bit different.
Just go have fun and nobody gets hurt, and don't hurt your arm, Jake. They need you for baseball.
Yeah, that Heidelberg team. And guys, if it plays out where it would be Heidelberg and Charleston, it would be 3 years in a row that Heidelberg and Charleston have met.
They split the first two.
Yeah, in the championship. They're looking for a rubber match. But, East Webster might have a little something to say, or Northside out of the North. They might have a little something to say about that. Let's take a look at the probability that the teams have to win the championship. We said West Point earlier in the week had the biggest chance we'd ever seen to win so far in the model. West Point had a 42.34 chance to win the championship. Well, Heidelberg has eclipsed that, and and when I say eclipsed, I mean eclipsed, almost doubled it. 76.83% chance to win the championship for the Oilers of Heidelberg. After that, in second place, which I think is a little surprising, would be Kemper County. Kemper County, they have them at 13.95%. And then it is a big drop off with East Webster at 5.81%, Mize at 1.7%, Northside at 1.4%, and then Charleston 0.41%, East Marion at 0.08%, and Clarkdale, they gave Clarkdale 0% chance to win that. You don't ever see that in models, right? But it says Clarkdale has 0% chance to win the championship, guys. So obviously Heidelberg, the favorite. To me, I'm thinking Charleston being that low is the biggest surprise here.
Yeah, I would agree. Charleston with all their state championship appearances and some of their wins, that I'm surprised they're third to last in this. And Mize, I know they had the upset, but to have them at fourth is surprising to me. Kemper County is the biggest surprise to have them number 2.
Yeah, I think.
I would agree.
Any team in the South,
go ahead, Brandon.
Any team in the South, all your Southern teams, I think they need to be down there with Clarkdale with the 0%. That is so wild to see a model spit out a 0.00% probability like that. I know the boys in Clarkdale are going to have something to say about that, and they may even be making videos about us this week if they're able to shock the world. You know, I mean, it's a model, but we
did say it.
We're providing the information, but no, Kemper County being at 2, I think is a little bit of a surprise. Based off the numbers that go into the model. I think in real time, though, or in real life situation, they do have an outstanding running back that can keep them in ball games. But other than that, I mean, I thought East Webster probably should be above Kemper County, but that's going to have a chance for itself to play out this week.
Yeah, so we're excited to see about 2A. Of course, Heidelberg trying to go for its second one in a row. But as we said, Heidelberg and Charleston going for the rubber match would be something to see. Folks would like that in the 2A ranks. But that does indeed wrap up this episode of looking at 2A and 3A. On our next episode, we're going to talk about 1A, the Ironman football that we love. And I think we'll finally figure out what Brandon Davis has on his whiteboard. Of course, we've moved that to people are hating us now that we've moved that to the end of the week, and they have to wait and see what we're going to be fighting and arguing about. Got a lot of phone calls, got some texts about last week's whiteboard, but we'll have to save that for the next episode. But for our entire crew, Brandon Davis, Jared Schatz, I'm Breck Riley signing off here on the Varsity Voices podcast presented by C Spire.